Hype it up. Welcome back, family. I'm Tom Crown, your host, and today we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin price. And we're going to be looking at some other stuff. It is Wednesday. Things are about where we left them on Monday. We're back from Vegas. The charts being boring again, but we're here and we're going to navigate. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to look at the charts you're looking at. I've got a few little spicy tidbits to look at. We have some spicy tidbits you're not going to find anywhere else. I think we're the first person to post about it. So definitely stay tuned till there. I'm going to talk about a very special person who people can't seem to stop talking about, James Wynn. I want to talk about James Wynn a little bit. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on this. I don't even know what to call it. Event. You can call it an event. I don't know. It's all people talked about in Vegas. Talked about it a little bit Monday, but talk about it a little bit more. If you could, what I need from you, cost you nothing, please hit that like button, subscribe, share the stream out, engage, vote in the poll, say hello in the live chat. Basically, the more you engage with this live stream while we're live, the more YouTube will show it to new people. It's a quiet day. We're 6 years live on YouTube, full time. Let's get some new fan members. Let's reach out. Let's get into the algorithm. So, puff, puff, pass. That's right. Some grifter begging for money. I don't think you're far off there, my friend. Let's start with a few little charts, and then maybe we'll jump into the James Wynn thing. I want to talk about it. It's all anybody's talking about. So, on the thumbnail, you have a golden cross that's in the title. I know we're probably sick of hearing about these crosses. Bitcoin had a golden cross, in May, just a few weeks ago. We'll compare that to what's going on here, but I think we're the first ones to this. Happens a lot. We find something, we share it, all of a sudden it's everyone's idea, all of a sudden everybody found it first. I don't know. Has anybody heard anyone else talk about this? So this is total crypto market cap. Let me put on, I hate the way they changed this on TradingView. They're always changing stuff, man. Just keep it the same. Keep it the same. This is total crypto market cap, so this represents all of crypto, not just Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or XRP. It's all of the coins combined together. It is an estimate. It is a calculation. It is not a tradable chart directly, but it does, for the most part, represent all of crypto. We are at $3.27 trillion for our complete space. That is above the previous all-time high in 2021. So sitting confidently pretty above the previous high. Good place to be. What we see is the signal that we have been watching for all year for Bitcoin. It finally came, and now crypto, total, the whole market, lagging behind Bitcoin a little bit. That's not a surprise, as Bitcoin dominance has been very bullish, so it should be ahead. This makes sense logically. But total crypto market cap now at the cusp. So I tweeted that it crossed, and it's in the thumbnail. Technically this will come tomorrow. Technically, it's not quite there. But virtually nothing at this point will stop this. No matter where today brings us up or down, this cross is coming. The golden cross is a specific moving average cross. That is the 200-day moving average, simple moving average. This green line here. And the 50-day simple moving average, the yellow line. When the yellow line moves from below to above, that is the golden cross. And when it moves from above to below, that is the death cross, my supervillain name. These signals have been mixed, I'll say, at best. Definitely not what they might appear to be. They don't really live up to their name. But we have gotten some valuable information from them over the year, I'd say even over the last few years. In fact, this exact signal, inverse, the death cross, was one of the major arguments in April that the bottom or the low was in. We saw the death cross coming. We said, man, we've seen this happen every year. Each year, it has appeared to mark the bottom of the move. It's a little cleaner on Bitcoin here than total. But here we are. We also did a history on the bullish crosses, the golden cross that we're seeing tomorrow or today. And we found that in bull markets, they are a bullish signal, typically not an instant instant gratification or satisfying signal. It doesn't tend to moon it right away, but they do tend to both lag behind and precede bullish price action. The last one happened in November of last year, and that's when things got very spicy for total crypto. And that one actually was pretty satisfying. That one brought us really directly up into our December highs. We consolidated, had the death cross. Here we are again. Last time this happened, we moved 60% from the cross. So in November into December, we moved about 60, 70% from the cross. That brought us to the 3.7 trillion all-time high. If the same thing were to happen now, and this, guys, please, this is just like chart nerding. The only thing you can really ever expect when it comes to patterns and things in trading is that they'll never play out exactly the same. But just for the sake of looking at this and kind of understanding it, that would put crypto somewhere in the realm of $5 trillion market cap. Not quite a 2x, but nevertheless a pretty spicy move. That would likely move, I would say, almost anything. Your altcoin probably moving in that scenario, probably going up. Bitcoin, whatever, new coins, a little bit of mania in this scenario. What's interesting to me is using our Fibonacci tool, which we use very, very often to predict, or at least try to narrow down or create targets up in space, we'll call it, on charts, and prices never traded before. We use this tool and we look for the 1618 in the two extensions. The 1618 sits nestled right there at the 5 trillion mark. 5 trillion is a psychological level. In fact, maybe one of the cleanest. The fives and the zeros tend to act most significantly when it comes to these psychological numbers. That for me is enough. That for me is enough to say this is a good target for total to look to move up to on a break of the all-time high. So this target is not really on the table according to Fib until we break 3.73. We're currently at 327. That's actually very close. We have the golden cross below us. On a break, looking for that big move. This could, I'd say depending on the timing, this could be potentially the last maybe leg of the bull market. Maybe we see something different, but if we look back to the previous cycles, that'd probably line up somewhere in Q3, Q4, making that move to 5 trillion, blow off top, and bull market, we'll see. We'll see. But this signal just happened with Bitcoin, so I think it's worth looking at what did Bitcoin do when we got this exact same signal. And unfortunately, it doesn't give us what we want. It's not just saying what we want, and I know you guys hate that. I hate that too. Why can't you just say you're going to moon my bags chart? Just moon my bags. I'm sick of this sideways. I'm sick of this crap. Just make me a bajillionaire right now, today. On Bitcoin, very similar chart. Bitcoin, of course, a little bit more bullish, having broken all-time high in May, having that cross a little bit earlier. But what we saw is the death cross here mark the bottom on this channel. We were looking for it. We said when it crosses, probably going to see the bottom within a few days. It came, it went. Here we are above the 200 and the 50. And we got this same signal, unfortunately, right on May 22nd, the exact day that we hit a new all-time high. And we have not traded higher since then. A lot of people have talked about a 10% kind of pullback or move back after these crosses. Looks like it happened already. It's already happened, so we can't say, we'll find out, or we're skeptical. Indicator price. It already kind of happened. 10% down from that high. Would be looking a little bit lower than we've seen in the 100.3 area. Roughly where the 50 moving average is going to look to be in a few days. But this is kind of a mixed signal here. You go back in the last few years of this run, and you see very consistently death cross mark the bottom, golden cross. It's not instant up. Typically, we see it front run. Price moves up before the cross, kind of shakes people out at the cross, and then continues. And that's what we saw in 2023. That's what we saw last year in 24. See, not quite as satisfying as total. The cross happened. We pulled back. This is going to probably be 10%. Actually, a little bit less, 8, 9%. And that's what we're seeing here again. So unfortunately, it's not, instant moon. Total has a history of having more bullish reactions from these crosses than Bitcoin, but it is here. And even if you think it is a counter signal, which I will admit at times it is a counter signal in the history of Bitcoin, in the history of crypto, it does typically lead to a longer term or midterm trend of moving up. And that's really what we're looking for this year. You know, if you look at the 4-year cycle, which people are skeptical of this year, even though we're still in the parameters of it, 4 years from the previous all-time high brings us to November of this year. It's currently June. We got July, August, September, October, November. 5 months. Give or take, I'd say a month. You know, we can see in December and see whatever. We have about 5 months and we still are in this neat package. It seems weird to me that people are looking for maybe a top being in now. I'll admit that people were talking about a top being in March last year. They're going to keep calling the top being in. And when you should really be worried is, especially if the timing is at the end of this year, is when everyone stops calling the top being in. That's when you need to pay attention. So you need to be worried. Say November comes around, we're at all-time highs, all the bears shut up, pay attention, because that has been the recipe that has ushered in the bull market tops every single cycle that I've seen. There isn't so much analysis. I don't really have too much to say about the chart on Bitcoin right now that is unique. I think that it looks strong. RSI has a bullish bias. We're above 50. We are just overbought. As long as we don't see this come down into the oversold territory, we're still in a bullish bias on the daily. We have diverged from stocks a little bit, I believe. Let me double check the stocks. Yes, from the SPX, we can see the correlation with stocks is actually at a yearly low. The last time, whoa, this is cool. This is pretty spicy. Last time, our correlation was lesser than it is right now with the S&P. Was June of last year. I did not actually know this. This was not part of my homework. I'm just noticing this right now. I have no explanation for this at the moment. Chat, if you guys have an idea, definitely share. June of last year. And you can see almost a very similar move. Correlation was very high at the start of the year, and it just began dumping in June. And that's exactly what happened here. This is the end of May, but that same dump into low correlation in June, exactly a year ago. I'm not sure what to make of that. That is actually very cool, very spicy chart stuff. I'll have to look into that more. I wonder what it is. What if Tom is actually AI? His TA is impeccable. Thank you, Robert. What if I am AI? Someday I will be AI, and you might not know. Yeah, spin that. Spin that around the noggin for a while. God, it's scary. The AI stuff is like, I don't know, I'm not like scared of AI itself, but shit's scary, dude. I was just like scrolling through TikTok the other day, and I was like, man, if you guys seen VO3, I'm getting on a tangent here. VO3 is like, I guess, Gemini, some video AI thing. And I was scrolling, and these videos come up, and it says that it is AI. It's like, this is AI. VO3 is nuts or something, right? And it's just this video. And I never would have guessed that it was AI if it didn't have that label. It was just people in scenarios, and like the people were saying like, I'm just a prompt. It's like funny in that sense, but it's scary because how long is it until we have no idea what is real and what's not real? And I think we're already there in many ways, but like, do you guys think that will like defeat social media in ways, or do you think that maybe that will make them better? I think it like defeats the point. If it's not people doing stuff on these apps like TikTok and why are you watching it? It just seems odd. I don't know. It's weird. Go look at this like VEO3, I think it's called. Some of that shit is just bonkers. People are doing like Bible stuff. They're making it like imagine like Bible scenes and things, and like there are people who think this is real. There are people that are so dumb that they don't even question that there were not cameras. No matter what you think happened back in the biblical times, there weren't cameras. Like that we know for sure. And then people think this is real, and they're like, wow, this really reaffirms my belief. And it's like, future's getting weird. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of AI itself. I think AI itself is a tool, much like Bitcoin, much like crypto, blockchain, that can be used for good or bad. But this world where what's real and what is not real, that we have been entering for many years, I think is very quickly going to become the only thing that we see around us. And I don't know. Maybe I'm being a boomer here. I don't know what that looks like, and it scares me. Right. All right. I'm getting off topic. You got me off topic, Robert. It's your fault. Got me off topic, and it's Robert's fault. Let's see. Daily, not much going on. Really not a lot of change here. You had some... Actually, you don't have bearish divergence. On the daily, you see a high and lower highs in price. A high, lower highs in RSI. There's no bullish nor bearish divergence on the day at all. You can look back farther and say, all right, there's bull div maybe here, but let's look at the most recent highs and lows. You just see a stair step down. You see a stair step down. That's really a neutral sign. It's RSI saying nothing's really happening here. There's no definitive kind of signal going on. I guess I didn't even look at the monthly close. Wow, I didn't even look at June. The most important prices, in my opinion, still remain 93.3. It's possible to tap 93.3 again before seeing the next leg up. I'm leaning away from it at the moment, but it is possible. Things will still be bullish in that scenario. Remember this wick all the way down to 75K where everyone thought things were bearish again. Now we're back up here at 105 holding steady. Always zoom out to that yearly candle when you're worried. Just zoom out. 93.3, of course, top of the quarterly order block as well, yearly open. The only thing that makes me uncomfortable, because this is a hella bullish setup, is hitting the previous all-time high, the previous month's high, yearly high, and closing back down. Now we have a whole month to go. Closing above 109.3 is the craziest bullish signal probably we've ever seen on this chart. But if we do reject, it starts to kind of look more like this, kind of look more like that previous all-time high, right? You have the wick, you close down, and you lose momentum. Not really worried about that at the moment, but it is on my radar, and it really just drives home, if 93.3 comes, I am looking to take a long. I'm already in a long, but I will look to go longer. At the bare last stand, and God, you know I'm going to end up taking this and regretting it. But in some weird scenario where, I don't know, we close under 109, and next month, or next quarter, we break under 93.3, 82.5 would probably be the last place I would look to long until what I would say is like the bear market bottom, until like much more discounted prices. I don't think this is coming until next year, personally. But these are the two macro levels for support I'm looking at when you zoom out. 93.3, 82.5. Knocking on wood, neither of them come. Let's go to this June. May closed very juicily, and I accidentally got rid of that line there. So we have one more value, and I think this value is more in the realm of playable in this month. June's still fresh, but 1024. This is how I see kind of the macro chart. February is open, January is closed. 1024 is untested, or was untested resistance until last month when it was broken, confirmed with a close above, candle opened above. Here we are. This would be actually a pretty clean, pretty cheeky play to snag a long, I don't know, you have to come up with a stop loss yourself. Snag a play from 1024, looking at least for a retest of 109 or 110, but I think in reality, looking for higher, looking for that next leg up. I think that would be the bull run-ish move. You know, a lot of the time we look for those clean back tests and moves up, but that's just not what you get in Bitcoin in a bull run, especially a late stage bull run. You're usually looking for something like this, a very weak pullback that shakes people out. And then just inefficiency in the chart as you move up. We already have plenty all the way down to 82.5. 1024 is definitely the lowest I'd like to see this go in the short term. You can still hold on to some of the structure here. Too much below that, and you really are looking for that back test of the yearly open at 93. Let's see what this is at. Nothing there. One thing that I think we should pay attention to, but maybe it's nothing. The bearish engulfing weekly at an all-time high. All-time high close followed by bearish engulfing weekly has historically led to lower prices. We saw this in December of last year. All-time high weekly close, bearish engulfing candle. Wasn't super deeper, but eventually, it went to 75. We saw that again in January. Not an all-time high close, but again, the weekly bearish engulfing leading us lower. I do believe almost every top has started similarly to this. No. Here we go. June 24. Not an all-time high close, but engulfing red candle. Showed weakness. Even into the ETF right here. Weekly bearish engulf candle led to the ETF low. 23 in April. Very common setup you can see for more discounts. So it's something I'm paying attention to. And that is why I think under 1024, significantly under 1024, things look a little sketchier. It is a pretty clean hit of that resistance and rejection, you could say, from the weekly. There we go, coming on. I can already hear the people talking about Head and Shoulders. It's already like echoing in my head here. Guarantee that you will, if you haven't seen people talk about this, probably already have. It is too early to call this a Head and Shoulders. It's too early. But I know we're going to hear it. You could have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder forming. I think that kind of looking ahead pattern playing is really unsuccessful in crypto. I think it's a really unsuccessful way to trade. But I can hear it coming. Basically, people looking for another lower high. And a rejection. Hit the 0.5. That's not great. That's not great. What would make this a Head and Shoulders would be, and remember, this is the price we were just talking about, 1024. Hitting 1024. Maybe then you get the right shoulder, if this is going to play out this way. Double top 106, something like that. Break 1024. After putting in a lower high, show the bulls are weak and the bears are strong. Prices pulled down. Maybe you hit 97.7. Maybe you just randomly stop at 100K. Back test 1024 and move lower, then you have a Head and Shoulders. Then you're spooked. The good news about that is you almost certainly get a shot at getting out at 106 or at 1024. Not the worst. Not the worst. I'm still bullish. I don't think that's what's in play, but this really is just looking like the same price action that we saw back in April. Sideways, higher highs, higher lows, kind of almost a reverse bull flag. I don't know what you call this. Expanding triangle. This looks like the same thing to me. Right? Highs moving up, lows moving up. The market structure expanding. It's looking similar. You know what's interesting that I just... No, wait, no, that wouldn't be. Scratch that. Scratch that. Scratch that. You know, if you're going to look for Head and Shoulders here, which isn't crazy, simply because you're at all-time high, it's always, in my opinion, smarter to look for a short than a long when you're at all-time high. That'll bring us into our next topic, James Wynn. But if you're looking for a Head and Shoulders, here you go. Here's your friggin' Head and Shoulders, right? And what, is a little spooky is maybe this does imply that we see maybe that yearly open. Let's see. Yearly open fits perfectly at this. If you're looking for Head and Shoulders, then invert the chart. Go out, zoom out, and look for this, right? 93.3 keeps us in the structure, taps yearly open, sweeps liquidity, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If your Head and Shoulders crazy, I don't know why you're not looking here. This would be a beautiful structure. I think it's almost too beautiful, too clean of a pattern for Bitcoin in a bull run. But there you go. Boom. Here's your hopium. Use the fib tool, launch it up, look up here. This is where I think we're going. By end of year, easy. Okay, how long have we been live? Half an hour. We're going to get to the chat here in a minute, guys. If you could, please double check that you have hit the like, the subscribe, that you put a message in the chat, said hello, all the goodies, engaging with the live. Going to jump into actually Ethereum really, really quick, and then we're going to get to the drama topic. Ethereum versus Bitcoin starting to look very good. Ethereum finally hit our macro support that we were waiting on this channel. You saw me get bearish on Ethereum, held that stance. I said, I'll start rebuying at 0.18 ETH/BTC. That hit. I started rebuying. Did it live every step of the way. Told you what I was doing. Ooh, hold up. Yeah. My mouth is still friggin' dry from Vegas. I feel like I'm still dehydrated. At the BTC, came down to that target and finally showed some life. That was my biggest objection for those of you who have been here stream over stream over stream is I need you to convince me. I need you to show me, Ethereum, that you aren't just doing the same behavior you've done. I need you to show me. I'm not just going to get hopeful, optimistic, and say, oh yeah, it's going to bounce here. Show me. And I think it's beginning to show us. On the quarter, you can see this is really the last support. There was definitely liquidity here. Losing this level, if Ethereum trades below 0.18 at any point, I'm probably outing. I'm probably out on Ethereum. There's not a lot of support below you. That I think things get very ugly very quickly for Ethereum if it trades below there. You know, you have nothing, just this gap until 0.08. And that's like a 50% drop against Bitcoin, 60%. Things get very ugly. But for now, I'm not looking at that. This is the first big wick, green hammer candle back to previous support on the quarter. That's a big time frame. Go down to the month. May closed rather bullishly. This is the first bullish engulfing monthly candle since, oh no. Dude, what is with this? What is with these like 1 year parallels? We saw Bitcoin correlation with S&P hit lows, like major lows, exactly a year ago in June. Now, I don't know, man. It's all conspiracy. But last time we had a bullish engulfing on the month for Ethereum Bitcoin was in May of last year. This is a solid candle. What I like is that it hit support, it reacted, it showed us that that support had buyers, and it brought us right back to previous support, now resistance. Obviously, we need to see breaks and closes, and we need to see it move higher. But this is a good start, and that is what I've been talking about. I said I just need it to show me it's not doing the exact same thing it's been doing, and in my opinion, that's what it did. On the week, on the day, we're hitting resistance, we're holding lows. It's like the first time that Ethereum has done absolute anything, especially when it comes to looking bullish. Hitting resistance, holding lows, man. I think Ethereum is very reasonably looking to break out against Bitcoin, and my logical target going to be sitting up there at 0.333. From here, that is a 30% gain versus Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin didn't move at all, what would that put the price at for Ethereum? Plus 33% at 2006. 33%. 3,500, still a lower high. But 3,500, not a bad move. When you combine FBTC with the ETHUSD chart, I feel like it's hard to be bearish. I feel like anything can happen on these charts, man, especially with Ethereum. You are at a pivot. 2,500 is really the major thing here on the USD pair. But with a bullish Bitcoin to ETH ratio, ETH to Bitcoin ratio, I feel better about being a little bit more bullish on the USD pair. A lot of inefficiency from that move down. This is where the liquidity is, though. We spent many months at 2,500 acting as support before we rejected, moved lower. This is it. You break this zone. I would even say if ETH trades above May's high in USD, I think it's going back to that 3,500 pretty quickly. But I have officially changed my stance. I like what I'm seeing here. Market Cipher B showing us some beauty here. VWAP up on the day, momentum up, higher highs on money flow. These are all the signals I want to see for a move to the upside. Flat top resistance, our lows. It's a little janky. It's not as perfect as I would like, to be honest. But flat top resistance. FBTC in good shape. I like how this pair is going from negative momentum to positive. Looking for a bullish reversal. While the USD pair continues to show that bullishness in money flow on the day. The combination there for me, I'm no longer bearish on Ethereum. Don't make me regret that, Ethereum. Don't make me regret saying these words. I can already hear like Vitalik loading up the wallet, the Ethereum Foundation getting ready to dump. Like Tom Crown says he's bullish. Can't have that. Can't have that. We gotta dump it. Bagnov it. All right. Low time frame. Yeah, dude, we're just chilling here. I don't really like this on low time frame. On the hour, I'm not a huge fan of like this broadening microphone-ish pattern. Doesn't really show a lot of strength. Lows are coming up though. Highs are coming up. Yeah. I think we already went over where I'm looking in the short term. Anyway, all right. There's the intro. It was long-winded. Maybe it wasn't. But we're back. We're here, and we're gonna talk about apparently everyone's freaking favorite subject. This guy that nobody knew. No one knew this guy. No one had ever heard of him. 3 weeks ago. Now everyone's talking about him. Everyone was talking about him at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. What do you guys think? What do you think? I want to hear some of your opinions, and I'll tell you what I think. I've kind of shared this already a little bit in places, but a guy who watches, I'm a guy who watches the markets closely. I know a lot of traders, know a lot of big traders. I know traders of all sizes. I have what I'd like to say, a good grasp on this. What do you guys think this is? Trash. Just trash. Dude's going to get wrecked. Robert, too late. Couldn't care less for Herfty. Yeah, fair enough. But what else are we going to talk about? It's just interesting. You think he can't trade? Always does. What's up, Voxies? How you doing, man? Lag? You're lagging? I guess you're lagging. Marketing scheme? Think he has big balls? I don't know. Funded by the exchange using? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things he could be. What's up, VZ Cat? How you doing, bro? Global banking system does 10 times the amount of all the world's gold in a year in transaction fees. That's where XRP multiplier comes in. I don't know what you're talking about. What's up, Vegas Claw? Randy, Coca-Cola. ETH is expensive. What more do you want? Reverse Kramer. He is a reverse Kramer. Today's sentiment is bearish when people shouldn't be. Yeah, this low time frame doesn't look super bullish. Our chat is not. 46% looking for a pump this week. Split between dump and nothing. We're bullish. What do you guys think? It's just something to talk about. It just seems like people want to talk about it. No? Gambling addict. Line in my pocket. That's probably... We're probably on track there. What's up, Das Peach? Basura. I don't know what even that means. Please. Hopefully I didn't say something bad. He's an ad for Hyperliquid. Exchange you'll never heard of until last month. So I had heard of Hyperliquid. I'd heard of the airdrop. And I remember, as all airdrops, I'm like, take your profits. Take your profits. It was like the one airdrop that I think probably taking profits was still the right idea, but like didn't go to zero instantly. When we moon in Andrew, you got a Lambo? I just got a Lambo. A homeless man's Lambo. Honda CRV. The guy's scamming. No way he gets liquidated like that and doesn't care. Well, I would argue he does care. I would argue this man is just starting to lose his sauce. I want you to liquidate me. Like, what are these posts, dude? I saw this today and I was like, the suspicions are pretty confirmed here. To me, this is a marketing thing. To me, it's a marketing thing. Andrew Tate's praying for you, my G. What? I tweeted about and you guys might have seen it on DCA on Monday. Tweeted, this man lost $100 million and now he's begging for donations. He deleted that tweet, by the way. He deleted that tweet. And then 5 hours ago, he's doing it again. It's weird. For a guy who opened $1 billion long on 40x, it was like a bunch of millions, but begging for USD donations and then putting out Hyperliquid affiliate links. And then this is the kicker. This is where my conviction that this is marketing just isn't hyperdrive. Shilling some fucking bullshit. What is this? Like, what even is this? Like, right? Never heard of this. This is like, maybe he rugged. Maybe he's like a rugger. All right, so maybe it's not. It could. I think it's marketing. If it's not marketing, here's my second thing. Maybe he's just a dude who's been rugging stuff. Right? Rugging stuff. Making projects rugging them. And he's put all his rug money in or something, and like to these trades. Here's the thing he's shilling. $23 million market cap. Bro. You got a $23 million market cap, but you opened $1 billion long on Bitcoin. Why didn't you just take $1 million and pump this coin? If this is like your thing, right? To me, it just screams of rug. What is it? I don't care what it is. No matter what it is, it's definitely a scam. But like, this is what he's shilling? $23 million market cap. That is so small that I wouldn't even talk about that on this channel. I probably wouldn't do TA on that. I probably wouldn't take requests for that because it's so small. Yet this dude with tens of millions of dollars to go just degenerately long is talking about it, shilling it. Something's weird, man. Something's weird. People with that much money don't behave this way. We have whales in this community. Some of them may be listening right now to me speak. The last thing they'd ever do was yell about their freaking liquidation price. Yell about having this $1 billion long open. Publicly talking about it. It's the last thing they'd ever do. Because people with that kind of money, when they behave that way, they don't keep it. They don't keep their money. They lose it. They part with it. And that behavior is just not the behavior that gets you to that kind of wealth. So marketing, here's what he could be doing. Did he lose money? I have a feeling he did lose a lot of money. I don't think he lost what we see, but I have a feeling he lost a lot. He could have had hedged positions open. And people say, but you'd see it on chain. Well, first of all, bro, did you look? Like, I don't know, people, like, when I was at the conference saying this, like, but you'd see it on chain. It's like, did you look through all of the on chain? Like, did you look? And the answer is like, no, I don't know. I'm sure there were positions that were opening in the opposite direction when he opened. So he could even be doing it on Hyperliquid. But two, he's moving. He's complained about his money being on, like, moving from Binance maybe or somewhere. Like, I don't know, like the withdrawal time was bad or whatever it is. He clearly is using centralized exchanges. So he could just have positions open there. You can go long, have this big long, everybody's like, whoa. And then just in the shadows, you have shorts open. And so you get liquidated on the long. And in theory, you could be completely delta neutral, which would mean you'd lose nothing. Nothing. You'd probably lose something. But like, you'd virtually lose nothing, at least compared to 100 million. There's a scenario actually where you end up profiting, even though that position is publicly liquidated. There are other ways to do it. He could be messing with options and futures. And like, there are just many ways that this guy could be completely neutral, right, on these trades. And then, but you say, but then why would you do it? Marketing for a shitcoin, marketing for Hyperliquid. But then on top of that, I'm no stranger to the affiliate links. By the way, guys, Femex, BYDFI, links in the video description below. No KYC. Great exchanges. You can sign up, trade on them, all kinds of stuff. No stranger to these links. They're profitable. The whole thing could just be that. It could all just be a stunt to get signups. And you'll say, well, I don't know. It seems odd. Bro's getting 600,000 views on his tweets. Like, just random tweets begging for money. People are sending him money. I kind of doubt that. Who's sending this guy money? No one's sending him money. Maybe Andrew Tate sending him money. I don't know. But like, dude's getting so much attention. How much? Think of this. And I'm going to go back to the chat. How much money do you think you'd have to spend in a normal scenario? So like through ads or something, right? To get this kind of attention. And I would argue the answer is millions. It's probably worth millions. Millions. I don't know. All right, let me refresh the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. People send Peter shit Bitcoin. Yeah. It's always hard to know though. Like Ross Ulbricht, Silk Road guy, he's been getting some big donations, but the donations have been coming from mixers, so could just be himself sending himself money. On chain is not always as definitive as it sounds. It's not always so easy. Guy walking in England. Where are 2 girls from? He replied, my bad. Where are 2 whales from? Oh, Georgia, what's up? What's up, friend? How you doing, Sean? Mexian Pharmaceuticals. You guys are wilding out there. Not a customer. Future of Digital Assets meeting just said. There's a meeting? What are we talking about, RPM? Femex is awesome. I do love Femex. Like, I've worked with them for years, guys. Every exchange has risks, but I guess the way I see it is I've worked with them for years and years and years. I know this. The CEO is my affiliate partner. He was an affiliate, like, business development person, and he got promoted to CEO. Like, I know people very high up there. If you guys use my link and you sign up for FEMX, obviously they all have risks. I would love to say something's risk-free, but Coinbase even has risk. But if something happens, at least you can come to me and I can say, yo, people in my community are having this issue. What's going on? And I can help you get it fixed. That's a value itself. No promises, but I can promise you that I'll try. It's manipulation. VZ Fat Cat, you actually just reminded me. That's another part of this, is he just trades like the freshest, retailist person. He was long, he got liquidated. Price went down, he shorted, he got liquidated. Price started going back up, he longed, he got liquidated. And the whole time he's yelling about market manipulation. Like, that's like what everyone does when they start trading. There's just no way this guy is some like master trader. It's just weird. It's weird. Dude's lost more than you'll ever make, true. Same, probably. If he's not a group or something, it's possible he's just living a life. Wild as it seems. $1 million things. I don't know, Snowy. You know how we will know, though? Definitively how we will know is if he is just a degenerate who hit some big trades, because it's not impossible. Hit some big trades. He had to have started with some big capital, but hit some big trades and, you know, got big like this. We'll know because, like all degenerates that take on that much risk, he will just lose all of his money and disappear, just like everybody does. So the way we'll verify if he truly is just a degen is if he just disappears. We just stop hearing about him in a month or 3 months or whatever. That's all we'll know. We'll know that he might have just been crazy. BlackRock, what's up, Uzi? BlackRock selling 3,000 Bitcoin, 30,000 Bitcoin, 3,000 Bitcoin, bought 20,000 out. You mean the ETFs? People mess with that. People are like, BlackRock bought. It's like, bro, did BlackRock buy them? Like BlackRock corporate treasury bought them, or the ETFs, like the BlackRock ETF? Because if it's the ETF, BlackRock didn't buy shit. Those are just ETF customers. It's an important distinction. You want to look at Sol? You want to look at Sol, Sean? We'll look at Sol. Real quick, who farted? Probably Taco Nacho. I mean, your name's Taco Nacho. 8,000 Bitcoin transferred from Coinbase wallet to unknown wallet. That's always good. I gave up. We used to watch the whale alerts like religiously. Used to watch them religiously a few years ago, and I'm done with that game. Dude, like, it just, I don't know, never seemed to move the price. Definitely a good thing to see coins leaving exchange. Always good. But I don't know. I don't think there's much more to read into that. I wish I was wealthy to lose $1 million. Yeah. It's a weird kind of blessing. You don't know the CEO, which means he can be trusted. I don't know, man. 0 issues with FEMX. Never need tech support. There you go. I haven't either. Of course, my experience is probably different from your guys, but I haven't either. Did in the past and it's helped. Awesome. You're in the green. We'll look at Solana here in just a minute. Sometimes lucky apes make millions. Sometimes, dude. I don't know, Uzi. I've been doing this a long time. I've been on YouTube. This is 6 years. As of June 1st, 6 years on YouTube. I've seen a lot of degens. I've seen a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people say things like that. I'll be real. I don't think I've ever met a single person who has been like degenerate and walked away with millions. I've seen them be up millions and then they always lose it, because this is similar to what I was saying about James Wynn, is the behavior that puts them in that scenario where like maybe they can be up like that from whatever they started with. That behavior is in trading just intrinsically self-destructing. Like, it will self-destruct you, because what you're doing is you're taking max risk over and over and over again. You're betting it all. It's like going to Vegas, put it all on black, you win. You put it all on red, you win. When do you stop? You don't stop. You started with that behavior. You might be up a ton, but you're just going to keep doing that until you lose. There's really no other outcome. And that is what I've seen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm sure there's an outlier somewhere out there. I'm sure there's somebody. But it's almost not worth talking about, in my opinion, because it just doesn't, I don't know. When do you stop? You put it all on black, you win. Put it on red, you win. Put it on red again, you win. When do you have enough? And there's just no such thing as enough. And that kind of mindset if you have that kind of mindset, like you really will never think it's enough. I don't know. Talking about James, we were, Jack. We were, yeah. We still are a little bit. It's just gone on break. It's called American Innovation. GOP Financial Services. Huh. Yeah, let's take a look. It's interesting because I like to cover all of those things. GOP Financial Services. I like to cover all of the U.S. stuff like this. GOP Financial Services. They only have 13,000 subscribers. Weird. Let me see. They are on recess. Yeah, maybe we'll pop this on. Maybe we'll pop this on in a little bit. We'll see. Where was I? Roaring Kitty too. No, dude. I think it's a grift. I think it's a grift, bro. You once won $800 on a slot machine and you cashed out. Well, *X, you are Chad. You're Chad. I'm going to tell you. You're a rare breed. People don't cash out. Also, though, when you play a slot machine, you didn't put all your money in. That's the thing. If you had put all your money in and you had hit it, you'd probably keep going. All right. What's up, King Peasant? How you doing, man? Matthew Schmiede. David Brum, good to see you in Vegas. Can we analyze Sui? Yes. We're going to look at Sol, then we'll look at Sui. You went all in on $20 in on Peanut Coin. You're going to splurge on some crown glasses. Get it, buddy. What's up, Reaper? I saw F-Bomb subscribed, Global subscribed, Anders, Manasa, Schraben. We got some subscribers. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed, you can't even type in chat, so you might as well subscribe now. Now's your time. Join us. Join us. Hit the like button. All right. Let me see. Let's do some Sol while we wait for maybe this U.S. Congress thing. There's like 200 people watching it. I'm kind of like skeptical as to what it is. It's probably very boring. Is what it is. All right. What's up, iDutchy? Really quick. Who's here? What's up, Adam Thomas, *X, Crypto Esquire, Crypto Aereo, Crypto Cars and Coffee. How you doing, brother? DXB, you're always here. I love you, man. N Foxy Thorny, you're always here. Love you, brother. George Evol's always here. All the G's. Grace Foundation, GRT with Hype, Hash, iDutchy, King Peasant, Lars Larson, Matthew Schmiede, Online Lectures, Randy, Mickle. Who else? People's names just popping up. Boogerweed, great name. Alex R. Rigo, RS Miller, Sean, 𝐂𝐳, Fat Cat, Pickle. All the boys, if you're here, put something in the chat. It's a quiet day. Let's take a peek at Solana quick. Daily. Daily has not reached our target. You guys might remember this trade. Yelled about it for a while. Took a while to play out. I was like not so confident about it here. Daily closed down. Here we are. I do not like this. I do not like these candles under the 50-day. This is setting up, I think, for a golden cross at some point. But these are not strong. They're not strong candles. I'm going to feel more confident if we see actually lower prices, some kind of bounce, some kind of reaction. At least 150 flat, but from 143 to 148, I think 143 is even kind of where I'd be waiting. Rejecting from the 200-day, not super bullish. You had a very strong structure. Kind of got nuked there. If you look at this and then you look at Ethereum, you'll maybe understand why I'm feeling a little bit stronger about Ethereum lately too. Very similar setups, right? Unless I'm tripping. Yes. Very similar setups. There it is. Ethereum holding, just testing that 200-day resistance, right? Higher lows, holding. If it rejects, immediately, you're looking down. What, 2150? That's even a support, right? That 50-day. We have a long there. But holding there, testing it. Bears not being able to take control. Solana, bears took some control here. Pushed it down towards support. Closed under the 50. I don't love it. Do not love it. I would not look too long. Of course you could, but I would not look too long, honestly. Till maybe down here. I don't hate this trade. I think this trade's actually kind of nice. Where you put your stop, obviously, up to you. Maybe you look back to the 200-day if you're more bullish into the end of the year on Solana. If you're not, maybe just to 170, 160 up here. Pick your risk to reward. There's your trade. I think that this short is going to play. Now that we're close, 3-1. Damn, that's a great trade. 18%. That's a great trade. Now that we're close, it's easy to say that, but we watched this play out in real time. I still think that's going to hit. You have resistance. You broke. You're testing it as support. It's not been tested as support. That's what this trade's looking for. If this plays out and we move back to 180, back to that 200-day, there may be another short there. I probably wouldn't look to short it down to 150 again, but there might be a higher low kind of scenario to look for it from 180. I don't think much has changed here. I think that's still the play. Solana failed the bullish engulf last month. That's weird. It's kind of weird, actually. A lot of charts hit this. Month before, even May is kind of gross. 124. Oh. Ooh. Yikes. Yikes, actually. A little bit of yikes here. Quarterly. Look at these quarterlies. First Q1 of this year, bearish engulf. Now this quarter, we traded lower. We moved back to the yearly open at like 190 and then rejected again. Man. Solana, where are you going? I don't like that. Any trading above 190 is very, very bullish. Honestly, any trading above the 200-day moving average is going to be very bullish for Solana. The thing, I guess, holding on for me that's keeping me not from becoming, the way I was bearish on Ethereum, the only thing keeping me from there is April's low hitting the 200-week moving average and bouncing. Still at a lower high, still haven't really shown conviction to the upside, but that low there, 200-week has just historically been the place to long on charts when it shows up. It usually plays out well. Ooh. Ooh. I think 140, 143, 148 is in his future. There it is. You're also a ninja. What's up, Bullish Mike? How you doing, bro? How you doing, bro? Stocks. The greatest recovery of all time. Still down 3% from its all-time high. I don't know about that. People want to look at SUI. I haven't really been even getting alerts lately. That just like nothing's been moving. Nothing's moving. SUI long was good. That's starting to look not so great though. SUI broke structure. Broke structure just a few days ago. May 31st, last day of May. Broke structure here. Damn. That's a lower high. I bet. Do you have divergence here? Look for these highs. You have bear div here. I think that these are too far apart. I'd say these are like too far apart, these highs. Yeah, to like look for divergence here. But that's not great looking, is it? It's actually pretty ugly. It did have a deep retracement, went to the 786, hit resistance for 412. Structurally, I don't like this on the day. I'm not, honestly, I'm less bearish maybe than what I just saw in Solana. But you are below the 200, just like Solana. You are below the 50, just like Solana, which is weird. I actually don't like this. I might, had I taken this $2 trade, I might close it here. We were looking for like all-time high, which if you're super bullish on this, maybe still aim for that. But like, I don't know if I like this setup. Cross down into the cloud. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Bottom of the bands. Shit. What do you guys think? Just looking at these moving averages, I do not like that. Do not like that. Mic is off. What do you mean mic is off? Mic's not off. Can't hear you. Motion, turn your sound on. Remember Bitcoin in the last cycle dropped all the way to 15. No one's kept buying. Good. That's the way to do it, bro. Can we check out ADA? Perhaps. We've been live an hour. Seeing exactly what you've been seeing, Sean. You're a smart man, brother. The supply of Bitcoin's running out. When's that gonna happen? When is that actually gonna happen? Shrink Tag, what are you feeling on this? I was pretty bullish on this. I thought it looked very good. I don't necessarily like this though. You broke structure. You've moved below the 250-day, which is like why this looked so freaking good. Really being under the 50 is what is nuking it for me. Of course, there's this scenario where you just move down 250, 275 and move back up. But honestly, I don't know. What do you guys think? What's up, Zigzag? I see you, brother. When's a good entry to Litecoin, Georgia? Georgia, just let me be alone in this hell. Let me be alone in this Litecoin hell. I'm just kidding. Has virtual's bottom days. Thanks for the $2, bro. Tell about Bitnode. What is Bitnode? Nizam. I feel like Bitnode was something at the conference. What is up, Tony Punch? I see you, bro. Tony Rosas, Belair. You're probably here. Dr. Crypto, Nicolas. Always here. Thanks, Foxy. Jim Mir. Small spike up, then dump. Thanks for the content. Thanks for being here, Winfield. Let's get back to the closing standard for the race. Kind of interesting. Okay. Let me see what you guys think of Sui. Then we'll put this on. Audio's good. Yeah, I don't know. That guy just has his speakers off. Music, perhaps. Give me 1 sec. You were on mute. Ah, you're good, bro. What's up, Realize? Cycle top is in, says Solosis. Yeah, usually though, when the cycle top is, it's like nobody's calling for down. We haven't really hit that. We just had, honestly, for me, the timing. If you were saying this at the end of the year, I'd probably be more accepting of it. The timing, and we just didn't have like a euphoria phase. There's no euphoria. I don't care what you say. We did not have euphoria at like I don't know, 112K last month or something. Nobody cared. I cared. Let me see. Is this a closing statement? Is this it? Gotta unmute it.
With Chairman Benham at the CFTC and put together joint rulemaking that could have provided meaningful.
The chair plans to have one more
in the buyback.
Flood, who is also the chair of the subcommittee on housing and insurance, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While I know that some of my
Why is that so quiet? This government audio is always garbage. Here we go.
friends on the other side of the aisle like to talk about President Trump, it's important to remember that any current activity in digital assets is taking place under the regime set forth by the previous administration and the previous SEC. During the last administration, there was an opportunity for Chairman Gensler in custody. Given your experience as a commissioner during Chairman Gensler's leadership, can you speak to how significant a sea change we're seeing right now at the SEC is regarding their approach to digital asset regulation relative to the approach followed by the commission when it was led by Gensler?
I think first and foremost, I share what I imagine is your viewpoint, which I commend the current SEC for their roundtables and work in this space. There is, I think, excitement from every facet of the industry, whether it's the consumer, the producer, the programmer, to the investors, to the businesses, where they're able to provide input about how the markets actually work. So I do think that this is a new day, as SEC Chair Atkins has called it.
Thank you, Mr. Roisman. Mr. Rumman, given your experience with Ethereum, can you speak to your view of how the Clarity Act treats DeFi?
Clarity Act, thank you for your question first off. And the Clarity Act not only encourages, but also creates guardrails and rules of the road. So DeFi, which I also like to call programmatic finance, can be symbiotic to the US economy. We think that it creates opportunity for a lot of innovation.
Speak up,
Mr.
Vivek
Benham,
Raman.
during your time as chairman of the CFTC,
Dude, they're
you
all
repeatedly
different
called on
volumes.
Congress to provide the CFTC with spot market authority to better regulate digital asset commodities. If the Clarity Act were passed into law when you were chairman of the CFTC, how would you act on the responsibilities the bill provides to the CFTC over digital asset markets?
Congressman, thanks for the question. It takes many steps towards giving the CFTC the comprehensive authority it needs to regulate non-security digital tokens.
Thank you very much. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. Pursuant to the previous order, the chair declares the committee in recess subject to the
Was that it? That really wasn't that great. Maybe I missed something. This is still live, though. This is like still going on. I guess they're in recess. What's weird, though, is I didn't hear about this. It wasn't on any of my calendars. And, like, this is a real government account. But, like, this is 200 people watching. It's weird. Oh. No, never mind. 200 people watching. Seems really low for, like, an official crypto thing. Maybe it's because it isn't anywhere. Like, I didn't see this anywhere. Yeah, apply this filter. No, I don't know. I couldn't. I didn't see this anywhere, and I like try to keep up with this stuff. Let me. Where's the virtuals? Virtuals bottom. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. Not bad. Hit previous all-time high. Got some really gnarly bear div on the day going on. Do not love that. We're probably not doing any more requests here, guys, so don't get your hopes up. But we're live. We're live here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Often more than that. There's always more time. There's always more time, fam. Virtual's bottomed. Doesn't look like it on the week. It kind of looks like it's rejecting from 233. If that happens, look at $1. $1 would be juicy. There you go. Bitcoin being boring. Wow, my mic is super hot today. Remove euphoria from the people. What is up, 𝐂𝐡𝐚? How you doing? Do Safe Moon? Never. Safe Moon is worth 0. The gentleman yields. Been with me since 2020, but no, it's good. We've been on YouTube doing this. Sounds freaking 2019. It's wild. 2019. I haven't looked at these charts in like a year. 2019. It's like a long time ago now. Jeez, that's aging. That feels bad. 2019 was a long time ago now. Shit. Have we figured out how to stop time yet? 𝐴𝐈𝐆 could be looking for a breakout. You're right at last week's open. If you break out, I mean 314, 315 upside. You reject here on the week, you're going right back down to 250. You'll lose this. One thing I don't like, and I don't know if I've seen this. I don't know if I've really ever seen this. The 200 week is moving down. That's weird. I don't know if I've like ever seen that on a crypto chart. On the day though, 200 perfect backtest. So, you know, put this in comparison to Ethereum and Solana. We've been kind of judging strength using just these moving averages. 𝐴𝐴VE above the 200 day. Ethereum testing the 200 day. Well, you can say how I would say it is maybe stop at 235. You lose 235 or the 200 day moving average. You're probably looking down to 200. That long's probably more cooked. Being above it's great though. And it gives you somewhere to kind of invalidate a long trade. You can see this was resistance both on the way down and the way up. You broke it, back tested it. That could be healthy. On the daily time frame, looks good. Actually, that's cooking. That's cooking there. Ooh, it's got a ringing in my ear. All right. The gentleman yields. Guys, if you have not joined the Discord, it's free. Discord.gg/TomCrown. If you sign up with any of the links in the video description below, such as BYDFI or anything else, you'll get some VIP roles and access in that Discord. That's right. It's a pretty good deal. If you haven't gone, check out joincrowncrypto.com. It is our new trading private group. We're still working on it. Still figuring out exactly how to deliver the best value to you guys. You get a free week trial if you check it out on joincrowncrypto.com. Use code VIP, get 50% off for life. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're tuning in on Friday. We'll be live. Maybe we'll be live later today if something spicy happens. But it is time for me to go do some things. That's right. I appreciate you joining on this not so spicy day. I think we talked about some very spicy stuff. I don't think anyone else in all of crypto land was looking at this before us. If you missed that part, go ahead, look back, check it out, and I'll catch you guys very